colleagues, friends, a Moscow conference organized by the Russian Ministry of Defense settled as an important site for open, constructive exchange of ideas on key aspects of global security. Such talk is very relevant with taking account accumulation of factors of non-stability and conflicts. I'm willing to quote, "We will have to take responsibility for provision of cooperation in the world, or we have to bear responsibility for new world conflict. The third is not possible." This quotation of the words given in March 1945 by President of U.S. Franklin Roosevelt, and I think that they formulate one of the main lessons of the most destructive conflict in the world. Managing common threats may be made only with the collective efforts on basis of respect of mutual respect of the partners. This year we will celebrate 70th anniversary of the end of the World War II and solemn events which will take place in Moscow on 9th of May. Leaders, delegation, and national military contingent from many foreign countries will participate. Celebrating Jubilee of the large victory, we pay tribute not only to feat of soldiers liberating the world from Nazi madness, but we also confirm large meaning of historical solutions which were laid under historical system, including United Nations. Unfortunately, after creation of the United Nations, possibility of global management on basis of real partnership were obstructed by harsh bipolar send-off. However, a quarter of a decade ago, mankind, with the end of the Cold War, managed to shift to wide cooperation. Russia actively, consecutively acted in this direction, calling to serious work or to implement in Euro-Atlantic principle of equal and indivisible security, to form single economical humanitarian space from Vladivostok to West Europe. Unfortunately, we are not heard, not even, and as a result, events on the European continent went on an absolutely different negative way. In the Washington and then in NATO prevailed the short-sighted logic of winners in the Cold War, and our partners went into euphoria caused by false notions that the Western world forever entrenched itself on political and economical Olympia, and all this despite obvious processes of dispersal of global forces and influence, confirmation of cultural civilizational variety as one of the key characteristics of modern contemporaneity. As a result, we came closely to the edge on which, once again, as after World War II, it is necessary to make a vital choice between cooperation and conflicts. Russia, always guided with sober, pragmatic approach, we're far from intentional charging of alarming moods. But nevertheless, I'm willing to call from danger degradation of international situation in the world, which went far away from globalization. Why in one tide not include different problems which may be even in different levels? But nevertheless, where is the wall with the help of which we may divide the increasing mass in European affairs and forming so-called arc of instability extending from North Africa to Afghanistan? Under what condition theory of compartmentalization, in according to which it is allowable that countries may actively conflict in one issue, but may productively cooperate in other, and it seems not reliable tool. Vice versa, natural approach taking multilateral interests of countries should be building up regional systems of security built on equal principles of taking interests, refusal from increasing security on account of others. And this will help creating global architecture on basis of United Nations Charter and curtailing common challenges. Much spoken about Ukraine, and conflict on Ukraine has no military solution. Accordingly, there's no reasonable alternative for peaceful settlement of the crisis on basis of complete and fulfillment of Minsk agreements made on 12 February this year. First of all, it is necessary to provide meticulous sticking to a regime of ceasefire, quick withdrawal of heavy weapons, to be verified by special monitoring mission of OSCE. Simultaneously, it is necessary to lift artificial obstacles on the way to solve humanitarian problems on basis of to stop economical blockade of Donbass on basis of real political settlement. Special meaning is given to unity of Ukrainian state, is given by fulfillment of Kiev obligations taken in Minsk to refuse attempts to change agreements. I am convinced that the West may and have to force Kiev authority to refuse from heroization of Nazis and prosecution of those who rescued Europe from fascism. We have spoken in details about this during meeting of foreign affairs ministers in Berlin 3 days ago. Political settlement in Ukraine need to give serious impulse to overcoming serious problems which accumulated in area of European security, but main cause of European crisis. Now we see just opposite tendencies, attempts to force the new separation lines in Europe. In the Washington, speaking about our countries, either use the term near-front states or they say that Russia became at the gates of NATO, as if our country went to the West and not North Atlantic Alliance came close to our countries and pushing away powerful military infrastructure. American military equipment goes along Europe. American Navy vessels regularly come into the Black Sea. Subject of serious preoccupation is given to American program of anti-missile weapon. This year in Europe and by 2018 in Poland, ground complexes of anti-missile system will be deployed, and groupings of the lessons with anti-missile weapons also there. We consider potential project of anti-missile weapon which creates the risks for Russian strategical deterrence forces and violating regional balance of forces. If realization of the program of anti-missile weapon will continue, if under condition of the progress on Iranian nuclear program, and this has been declared already by NATO representatives, then incentive to build up anti-missile weapon in Europe will be obvious to everybody. Now it is clear that so-called adaptive approach to creation of anti-missile weapon, we were told lies. And all meaning of this approach, as explained President Obama, considered in readiness of U.S. to adapt anti-missile plans to real situation on communication on Iranian nuclear program. And now at these negotiations, significant progress is there, and plans of anti-missile weapon are not adapted, but even developed. About Russian suggestion on equal cooperation with Washington is not mentioned. We do not want to force anybody to cooperation. However, it should be clear that weakening partnership between leading states will leave much space. And first of all, there are challenges on the Near East and North Africa. Serious sharpening of the situation, increase of situation there, increase of terrorism and extremism, widening of territory control to so-called Islamic State, increasing of inter-ethnical, inter-confessional contradictions, preserve a real danger to international stability and security. To people of these areas, special alarm is given to attempts artificially sharpen Sunni Shiite confrontation in Islamic world, including an attempts to confirm external interference. I am willing to have maximal seriousness being guided by mutual respect, looking for compromises between Muslims which were formulated in the Amman Declaration, which were agreed in July 2005 by initiative of Jordanian King Abdullah II. Now it is time to confirm principles of Amman Declaration, and I'm convinced that Arab League states will understand all hazards of division of Arabic. Efficient external settlement of intergovernmental conflicts need to be based on international law and anticipate encouraging of protagonism to dialogue. In these efforts should not be placed to attempts of governments to impose recepts and double standards. There should be not issues when in Yemen, U.S. Look favorably, or better say encourage for force operation of coalition to bring back detected president, whereas in Ukraine, just oppositely, Washington actively supported and really helped anti-constitutional state coup d'etat. As mentioned, Russian President Putin, unilateral dictate and imposing own master forms bring just opposite results. Instead of settlement of conflicts, escalation. For sovereign stable states, increasing space of chaos. Significant positive results managed to be reached only on basis of series without double bottom composition of efforts. I will mention the operation to bring out all components and precursors of chemical weapons from Syria, reaching political framework agreement on final settlement around the Iranian nuclear program. By the way, this opens ways to refusal from vicious line from isolation of Iran, the way to bring it into attempts to find regional problems, settlement of regional problems, political settlement in Syria and Yemen, and encouraging national consent in Lebanon and Iraq, promotion inter-Palestinian reconciliation, and certainly continuation of Palestine-Israeli negotiation on basis of international law. The larger significance is given to formation of cooperation in the Persian Gulf with participation of Arab countries and Iran, with the support of League of Arab States, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, 5 permanent members of Security Council, and European Community. Uniting efforts in Afghanistan is very important. The country becomes a source for spreading terrorism and drug trafficking onto territory of neighboring countries, including Central Asia. We are interested in provision of peace, security, and cooperation in Asia and Pacific, and Russia is an integral part of this area. On to development of mutually recognized rules of behavior for the favor of providing reliable security and stable development in Asia Pacific, and this through initiative made in 2010 by Russia and China. Mutually with other countries of the region, we launched a multilateral dialogue on this topic in the framework of Eastern Asia Summit. In the beginning of my speech, I mentioned that it is important to go towards creating network with regional institutions which are responsible for provision of security in this region. If we go through the way declared to form indivisible system of security in Euro-Atlantic, if we look to ways without wide architecture of security in Asia and Pacific, then significant of efforts will continue growing, which are taken by Russia to provide security in the space of on Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We are willing once again remind the initiatives which were given by the Secretary General of United Nations, management of cooperation and security in Europe, when they invited managers, leaders of the countries to exchange opinions and speak about their views. And this may be a meeting on cooperation to increase measures of trust in Asia, which became good ground for cooperation on initiative of Kazakh president. We are willing to continue tight work with our partners and friends to build good relations, strengthening regional stability, which is important agenda of Russian presidency in BRIC. We are open for dialogue and cooperation with all those who reveal readiness. I am willing to wish participants of the conference fruitful work. Thank you.